Welcome back. Welcome back. Some will say um, one of the top things that Kevin Hart hates to do is give a high five for obvious height reasons. But with that being said, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. And 5 likes, and I'll come back and talk. Unpopular opinion for this roast. Was the roast of Kevin Hart too much? Did it go too far? Was it racist? I don't know why when I say the word racist, it feels like saying it like that's racist. I don't know if it's because of Dave Chappelle and the Chappelle show and like that, but was it racist? I don't know. You can put in the comments how you feel about it. Now, we're going to go ahead and review the roast of Kevin Hart. It was hosted by Shane Gillis. Shane, if you know, you know. He also has a show, a 30 minutes episode. I might come back and review it. I think, or Tires. And he's done some other projects. And he was in charge of this. But you had a cast that came up and they did what they did and said what they said. But before I continue, I just want to say, hey, my name is Ron, also known as the Dad Panther. This is the Critics Collective. We would love to have you join our collective family. Here we talk television, films, wrestling, video games, short movies, all everything in between. So we'd love to have you join our collective family. Now, with that being said, I'm going to tell you the highs and lows about this, and then we'll go ahead and rate it. Now, this came out recently. The conversation's kind of, it's like it's live, but it's not really, because I believe from what I'm hearing is Kevin Hart had full control of what jokes made um made it to our eyes and ears. But it's interesting because there were some jokes that were just they were if they were picked, they were picked. It runs about 3 hours for this, which doesn't feel like 3 hours. But I felt like, looking at it now, it's like that's 3 hours. That's a long time, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. So I guess that's a nod to the pacing of it. If I would talk about the stuff I didn't like, it would probably be maybe the tone of the jokes not landing, or I'll take away tone. Let me scratch it away. Some of the jokes not landing. Some of the jokes not landing, some of the jokes not finding the right audience. And what I mean by that, that's just, it kind of comes down to it every now and then when you get a roast. Now, just before I continue to dive in, when it comes to a roast, a good roast, you're burning somebody. That's just what it is. The kids do it now. My 7-year-old daughter asks me sometimes, like, oh, how do I roast my friend? How do I burn my friend? And I'm like, hey, and this might be kind of fucked up, but this is the humor that I'm at. I'm like, tell me a little bit about your friend. And it's like, oh, it's a boy in school. And I'm like, that's great, because I don't like any boys in school with my daughter. That's just what it is. And so she's like, he said this, which wasn't much. He didn't say anything cross the line. I'm like, and she gives me some information. I'm like, well, next time he tells you XYZ, say, how come your dad hasn't come back home? Oh, and my daughter was like, oh, that's a burn. And that's just the kind of household that we run. You can get it. If you dish it, you can take it. It is what it is. I grew up listening to Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby and Eddie Murphy. There's some other comics that I can't think off the top of my head right now, but I'll try to come back and talk about it, put in the comments. So I grew up in a household where the jokes had to hit, the punchlines, the flow, the cadence. Dave Chappelle, like, you're telling the story and the punchline is there. And some of the newer Noah, and there's another person who I can't remember these names right now, but there are comics that are doing this and they're driving it. And Chelsea and Nikki, and certain ones where it's just like they get the whole idea of a roast. And if you're sitting there watching the roast and not understanding what the fuck the roast is, you're going to get roasted yourself. So I would say the length. I thought it was too long. I thought, I don't know why, but I felt like I wanted different people there. I guess some of them. I think that was really it. You really can't put a low to this. The production was there. Don't get me wrong. The production was there. The highs for it was, for a roast, there was no punches pulled. No punches pulled. Underwood does a great job. Cheryl just destroying everybody who tried to destroy her throughout the night. She came back and destroyed it. She took it on the chin. Lizzo, I thought, did a really good job of what she was doing. Came out with the flute, the little Kevin Hart's, The Rock. Did some stuff, and I thought honestly, the jokes against Pete Davidson's dad, there were some things there, and he He bounced back. I didn't care for Tony's jokes too much. I don't know. There was something about that was there. Draymond Green with a line saying, "You know me, I don't hit threes," and I'm like, damn. Like I thought Miss Handler handled herself right and did what she had to do. I thought Regina Hall. Nobody was fucking with Regina Hall. Nobody. They would talk to her, but not about her because they know she stands on business. But going back to a low, this isn't the best roast. There are some really good roasts. Norm McDonald, rest in peace. He got up there one year. I think it was Bob Saget's roast. He got up there and he delivers one of the best roasts ever because if you watch it now, you're probably like, I don't get it until I tell you what I'm telling you. What Norm does is he goes up there and he gives the worst jokes ever. Some of them still have a little punchline, but they're really bad jokes. So to stand up at a roast and tell bad jokes in an audience of comedians, that's a different level of comedy. And go back and watch it. Bob Saget is dying laughing because he gets it. He gets it, and some of the other comedians get it. But if you're watching at home, you don't get it. So every time they pan to the crowd and people are laughing, and you're like, "This is a fake fucking laugh," it probably is. It just went over their head. The one with Tom Brady, Nikki just destroys Tom multiple times and lifts him up at times. And then with the Gronk thing, like even Gronk knew that Bitcoin or that crypto coin was wrong. Me, Gronk, no, not real. Shit was crazy. So it just wasn't to the same level as some of the other roasts that I saw before. I think Comedy Central did a lot of the roasts before some of these other streaming companies started picking up on it. Let's go ahead and rate it. Let's rate it, and you feel how you feel. But put in the comments, what do you think about it? Now, we like to rate from a 0 to a 5, 5 being excellent, 0 being not good. We're talking about the roast of Kevin Hart. He wasn't hosting this one, but he's hosted a few. This is on Netflix. You can check this out. It's 3 hours on it. I may come back. 5 likes. Not saying this is excellent. 5 likes. Come on back. And we'll do it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just simply tell you right now, I'm going to rate this a you should subscribe. You should subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, comment. Listen, we're out here working, okay? It's a new channel. We're trying to hit year number 2, and we're trying to, we're trying to grow. We're trying to grow and get more eyeballs. So hit the subscribe button, like, follow, share it to somebody else who you think has a good sense of humor. I'm going to say it's... I want to say it's a 4. The only reason why I'm like, because like I said, a lot of people are going to feel some type of way. Maybe you've never watched a roast. Maybe you've never watched a fucking roast. Maybe you've never been in Miami in high school saying, "Yo mama, da 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 da, head ass, da da, get him. Yo, How High," the movie How High with Redman and Method Man, like, "Yo mama, da da, get him." And they were just like, this just what it is. You're not trying to say something nice. And if you've ever worked some of the tough jobs in the world, like I'm thinking, like I had a coworker who was a friend. I had a coworker who was a 911 person. He answered the phone, 911, emergency. It was him you were talking to. Shout out to people that do that job. And it's grown for him to have a dark humor. And he would pop off with the most morbid jokes ever. And it's wild. So comedy's not for everyone. Not everyone can take certain levels of comedy, but I am a strong believer behind comedics are probably the last bit of freedom of speech that we have. Whether you like it or you don't, you pay to go see them, or you watch and you stream them, or you see them in movies if they transition more than the tour during the stage. And for them to be able to be candid and be themselves, that's it. Now, I may come back and talk about some of the jokes kind of going over, but the reason why I also think this was really good is Katt Williams comes up there and drops some stuff that could be true. Like there was a line about covered in baby oil, and the case and the charges wouldn't stick. There were just certain things that he was doing, and it was just like, yes, there were some moments like Usher. I love Usher, but he wasn't hitting the notes, but he was also kind of laughing a little bit, and we know he can sing, so nobody's taking anything away from that. But Katt Williams, knowing that they've been beefing for a significant amount of time, and squashed the beef right there live, allegedly, and the set that Katt did, the set that Miss Handler did, the set that who else? Underwood did. Like, they're just certain certain things about it that I thought was like, it could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. And I greatly appreciate that. Let me know in the comments, who do you think had the best set? Maybe there's another roast of someone else that you thought was good. Put that in the comments. Until next time.